Is this definitive proof that the modern day Welsh are the ancient Britons they want us to believe are wiped out? So this is research done in 2015 on a Roman burial of headless Britons. We can assume they were Britons because they were buried by the Roman, headless. So if you watch my other videos, this all comes back to the R1b haplogroup, so a shared common ancestor. They found 6 of these ancient skeletons had the R1b haplogroup. So why is this proof that the Welsh are the ancient Britons? Well, this is the most common haplogroup in Wales, reaching up to 92%. It mentions that the North and South Welsh have different genetic profiles because of the different amount of Anglo-Saxon settlements, which was after the ancient Britons. We can see the dispersion of this haplogroup, with the darker green being the higher percentage. So we can also see how common this is in Ireland. So they found 6 skeletons of British origin and 1 of Middle Eastern origin, which is interesting, considering my World Peace video, where I talked about potential ancient genetic mixing when there was peace among the lands. And so 1 Middle Eastern with a group of Britons would kind of support that idea, don't you think? So the 6 were indigenous, native to Britain, and they matched the DNA for the Iron Age sample. And the modern group they're closest to are the Welsh. This R1b haplogroup is the most common in Western populations. And they were found in Yorkshire. However, they differ in their DNA from the modern day people who live in Yorkshire now, showing the land where England was once Briton. However, now there's more Anglo-Saxon DNA. And so it goes on to mention how the mountainous regions of Wales might have played a role in allowed this indigenous DNA to be preserved. And this research supports just that. And modern day Scottish and Irish people diverge from this sample, so they're not the same as this DNA. And we could have mixed earlier on with these groups like the Scythians I mentioned in my other video, along with us mixing with the Scottish and the Irish. So did mixing with these early Scythian people create the diverse range of appearances we see in the British Isles today, ranging from pale to ginger to blonde and blue-eyed and dark and tanned? Further evidence for the Scythians bringing this ginger hair potentially and hooded eye can be seen if we look at the Bashkir people of Russia today, who have high percentages of red hair. And what the Scythians look like has been widely debated. However, you can see from the DNA reconstructions that they did have ginger hair. And other regions where this haplogroup is common is Ireland and Scotland, West Wales specifically, the Basque, who I've mentioned in a previous video as well, and some groups in Russia and Afghanistan. So did these Scythians have a lasting impact all over the world? And so while the modern day Welsh are a high percentage of this ancient Briton DNA, when it's not the only DNA that makes us who we are, and we've had genetic mixing for thousands of years. And this genetic mixing actually enhanced survival. It made for people perfectly adapted